Evening, everybody. I'll call this meeting of the Sheriff County Board of Adjustments to order. This meeting will begin with a public hearing. Anyone other than the applicant or the representative wishing to speak must register and submit the registration slip to the zoning administrator at this time. Following the hearing, we will conduct our monthly business meeting, at which time we will vote on the applications. You may stay and hear how the applications are decided, or you may leave following the hearing. The applicant and town board will be sent a copy of tonight's decisions. Any other person wishing to receive a copy of the decision can sign the sheet on the table at the front of the room. Those of you wishing immediate knowledge of the outcome of these proceedings may call the county zoning office tomorrow morning. The procedure we will follow for hearing each application is, after each application is read, the applicant, their agent, or representative will be asked to present their application, followed by any questions or comments from the board. Then all correspondence will be read. Then others in favor will have a chance to speak. Anyone objecting will then have a chance to speak. I will then ask for a summary of the board's field observations and any staff comments. Finally, the applicant will be allowed a chance for a short rebuttal if they wish. Anyone wishing to speak should use the microphone, state their name, and direct their comments to the board. I am asking that all testimony kept brief and to the point. The applicant will have 5 minutes to present information on their application other than questions from the committee. Anyone else wishing to speak should limit their testimony to 3 minutes, and any rebuttal by the applicant should also be limited to 3 minutes. If you are testifying as a nearby landowner, please tell us where your property is located relative to the subject property. Subject hearing will be recorded and the recording will become part of the record. Comments that are based on hearsay or secondhand information, as well as slanderous or prejudicial remarks, will be ruled out of order. The committee has looked at all the properties and a record will reflect these observations. Any person affected by an administrative decision of this board has 30 days from the filing of tonight's decision to file an appeal. Such appeals are heard by the Waushara County Circuit Court. Information on appeals is available from the Clerk of Court's office and qualified legal counsel. The county assumes no liability and makes no warranty as the legality of any construction commenced prior to the expiration of this 30-day period. I'll now introduce the board. On the back, Larry Tim, George Peterman, John Benz, John Shirk. I'm Kevin Fitzgerald, and our zoning administrator, Todd. Our first variance request tonight, John Speaker, Racine, Wisconsin, has made application for a variance in accordance with sections 58-235 sub 5 sub A and 58-542 sub C sub 2 of the Waushara County Zoning Code to construct a 14-foot by 24-foot addition exceeding maintenance and repair to non-conforming structure due to side lot setback less than half the required setback in RS20 zone residential single family in the shoreland area of the town of Springwater. The location, a parcel of land being part of Chase's Springwater Lot 1, Block 1, Section 20, T20N, R11E, Town of Springwater, Coastal Lake. Address W5729 Archer Lane. Will the applicant please step forward? And John, you just explain briefly for the committee and for the recording what you want to do. Okay, I got a few questions for you. Answer them the best as you can. Have we had a recent survey? You sure the lot line's in? You talked to the neighbors? Did you go to town board meeting the other night? Okay. When we were on site there, you said you're gonna probably put in a poured foundation, is that correct? Um, will it be about the same existing grade as the house is now? And what will the finished height be? Okay. When we were there, we talked a little bit about runoff. Have you thought about that at all? Stormwater runoff, erosion? Okay. Are you planning any other improvements? Will all other setbacks be met except for that one? Septic system? Okay. Okay. I don't think we have any non-conforming structures on that property. Yep. Okay. Um, you really don't have any other options because the holding tank and pumping station is on the one side, right? Okay. Yep. So the hardship is the small lot and the funny angles too, right? Kind of same with your neighbor too. He's kind of cockeyed too, yeah. What do you know what permits you'll need? Okay. You work with the builder will work with the zoning officer, I'm sure. Um, if this was granted, when would you like to start building? Questions, that's all I have. Questions of Larry?
Is there a basement under the current house also? The only way to get in that through your Bilko door? So how are you gonna have an entrance between your two basements then, or from the current house basement to the new basement? Yeah, okay. Or, no.
Anything else, Larry? George? Okay. Yep, just have a seat and then you'll get a rebuttal if you need it. And we'll go to correspondence.
Zoning office did receive a letter dated December 14th, 2021 from Carolyn Yeska, the town of Springwater clerk, addressed to the Washera County Zoning Department and states, this letter is to inform you the town of Springwater board does not have any objections to the plan presented by John Speaker in regards to the addition he would like to construct. Respectfully, Carolyn Yeska.
Anybody, any letters registered? No
We have-
speak, nobody
Nope.
objecting?
Nope.
Staff comments?
Okay. Everyone should have a copy of the final draft staff report before you. I'm going to just give a brief summary of that for those in attendance as well as the board. Summary of the request, the applicant, John Speaker, is requesting a variance to construct a 14 by 24 addition exceeding maintenance and repair to a non-conforming structure due to side lot setback being less than half the required setback required in an RS20 zone in the shoreland area of the town of Springwater. Subject lot is part of the original Chase's Springwater subdivision, which was platted and recorded back in 1953. At that time, the subdivision consisted of a number of long, narrow lots ranging in widths from 68 to 70 feet. The subject lot actually happens to be one of the smallest lots in the subdivision, which is not only very narrow, it also is very shallow, and was designed in such a way that the lot lines actually run diagonal, while the house runs parallel to both Archer Lane and Lake Kusel. What that has resulted in is a corner of the house being set back only 4.82 5 foot from the west property line. We were out there, we saw that the applicant is now proposing a 14 by 24 addition onto the north side of the house. And because of the diagonal orientation of the lot lines, the corner, and I should say the northwest corner of the addition, will be set back about 12 feet from that side lot line. The board visited the property at the recent onsite on Monday, December 13th, and were generally very supportive of the request. The board did recognize the irregularities of the property and placement of the home, and the board at that time offered no other comment. Staff has reviewed this request and believes that both the home and the proposed addition to be quite modest in nature. Given the fact that it is only a small triangular portion of the new addition that will encroach upon the side lot setback, the request really should have no negligible impact upon the surrounding area. While the board will be making a formal recommendation on this request later in the evening, staff is recommending approval of the variance as noted in staff's report and subject to the conditions listed in your report.
Thank you, Todd. Any questions of Todd? No
Oh.
questions?
Nope.
You want to add anything or rebuttal? You good? Okay, we'll go to the next one. Nielsen Family Trust, Cary, Illinois, has made an application for variance in accordance with sections 58-542 sub C sub 1 and 58-826 sub B of the Washera County zoning code to come within 55 feet of the center line of County Road C, 75 feet required, in RS 20 zone residential single family in the town of Deerfield. Location: a parcel of land known as Lot 1 and 2 of CSM 4851, Section 23, T19N R9E, Town of Deerfield, Mar Lake, address W10180, County Road C. Would you like to step forward, please? Who's going to speak? Both of you can speak if you like. Pull the mic down and state your name for the record, please. Just tell us a little bit, Kim, what you want to do.
Description.
Very good, Greg.
All right, I got some questions for you. Answer them best as you can. A recent survey, or you know where the corner markers are for the property? We kind of saw them in the snow the other day. Here, look. Yep. Yeah. Are you sure where the road right of way is? Where you have to be so many feet off, so you're pretty close where you want to be with this building. So you know where it's at. Okay. Yep, we saw it. Have you talked to the town, the county, or the state about this? Town chairman or?
Yeah.
Okay. Mm. Tell me what are you gonna do about erosion or stormwater runoff? Okay. So the foundation is gonna be gravel, sand and rock, and then you're gonna have a pad. What are you gonna do to stop the runoff from the building from running down that slope and eroding the slope? Come on up, state your name. I knew we'd get you. Are you gonna put gutters on it? It's a pretty steep slope. Let me finish asking these questions here. So it'll be even grade, it won't be built up, just a little ramp going onto the pad, is that what you're thinking, or flat straight in, or? Okay. What will the finish height be? 18 feet, somewhere around there?
11.4,
Huh?
11.4.
Okay. Any other improvements planned? Okay. Septic systems doesn't pertain. Room for parking, you'd be able to park in front of the doors or inside, right? Will you have enough room to turn around without backing onto the highway? That was a concern of ours. Okay. You don't have any other options, I don't think.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, it's pretty steep. So the hardship is you don't have a level spot on the lot to do this. Otherwise, you'd be too close to the shoreline down there to do it down there. Permits, you know, yeah, I'm sorry. Yeah, I know. Yeah. You know what permits you're gonna need? Does your builder, have you talked to him about that? Okay. When do you want to do this? If you would be granted? Huh? Yeah. Okay, that's all I have. Committee?
You have any electricity in there? Okay. Yeah, sure. Well, if you're gonna have electric doors or something, you know. Your roof line does slant towards the lake. And you're gonna get some runoff off that roof that wasn't there before. So it's something that your contractor and our folks from zone want to take a look at, so.
We, last month we had a hearing with, it had a natural little kettle, little bowl next to the house. And they had rain gutters and just the, gutters coming down and they were having erosion. So I can't imagine your contractor telling you you're not gonna have an erosion problem with being that steep a hill there.
Well,
Unless you would do something special.
it would have to be special. And I think, I think it can be controlled. So, and that's one of my concerns. And so if it's large rock, if it goes down slope far enough, it's gonna act kind of like a modified French drain because the water's not gonna go over those, depending on the size of the rock, of course. Well, and that's good to hear. That's good to hear. So my other concern was on the down slope of the pad. And that's where the fill's gonna have to be. And then you're gonna have the pad. What's gonna hold that underneath the pad with the degree of angle that slope is at? Those rocks? Okay.
We,
Well, I understand your issue. But I drive past there all the time. I'm from Hancock, so I go past there all the time. And when we looked and thought,
we thought you would pour footings in there. You know, with a wall or a poured concrete wall so that it wouldn't slide down and then fill it in with the rocks on the inside, but you'd have that permanent concrete wall. That's what we thought you were planning on doing. We didn't, and we had concerns if you were going to do it with the gravel.
but if you did, Kevin, and mentally trying to put this picture together, and I thought that too, of a poured concrete wall to hold the fill back that the garage is sitting on, then you also have the drainage problem. So where's that gonna go? That's gonna go on the outside of that retaining wall, and so something has to be done to contain the water, even though it's gonna be a small roof. You're still gonna have runoff. So, and I had not known about the rock. I think the rock's a better idea than the poured concrete wall.
Some of our land conservation folks will get involved with, I'm sure.
Oh, they will.
I've got,
We can- Okay.
Yep,
Oh,
I've got
okay,
something.
good.
Larry, any question? George?
And I think you already made this clear with the turnaround, but the entrance, the overhead doors, they're gonna face west, right?
Yep.
Okay. Right. Yep. That's all I.
Okay, have a seat and we'll go through all the correspondence.
Okay. While we don't have any written correspondence, I did receive a phone call yesterday from Tom Whaley, who's the chairman for the town of Deerfield, who stated that they pose no objection to
Okay.
and have no other concerns.
Thank you. And anyone favor to speak or object?
Have nobody
We'll have-
registered.
Take staff comments and
Okay, similar to the previous request, I'm going to just go through our staff report and kind of give a brief summary. The applicants, Kim and Dennis Nielsen, are requesting a variance to come within 55 feet of the center line of County Road C, when 75 feet is normally required in an RS20 residential single-family zone in the shoreland area of the town of Deerfield. The existing home predates county zoning. However, the subject property has come under review multiple times in recent year. 2004, the property received a variance to place a foundation under the existing home, as well as to construct an addition onto the home, which was replacing an old travel trailer. In 2008, a new septic system was installed, and in 2013, a boathouse was constructed. I would like to point out that in 2013, I think the applicants were originally looking at putting a garage down by the shoreline. However, due to the concerns that staff had raised regarding disturbance of the shoreline, the applicants chose to just put a boathouse there to meet their storage needs. The property in question is a re-subdivision of several lots which date back to the old Lake Maryland subdivision from 1930. Nearly all the lots in and around this area between County Road C and Lake Marl are very narrow lots, which maintain very significant slopes with minimal flat areas in which to build. The county zoning department, and that was out there in May of 2021, earlier this year. We walked the site. Rick Ertl actually walked the site with them, trying to identify some locations. And this was literally the only one. At that time, we also then went back to see what have we done before in the past. And it was back in approximately 6 years ago. We did grant a variance for the Azingers, which are a few lots to the east of the applicants. And at that time, there was a variance that reduced the setback from 75 feet down to 53.5 feet. And then when we also looked at the aerial, and I know, Kevin, you kind of mentioned it when you were driving around, there are several other non-conforming structures in the immediate area that are probably even closer than what the applicants are seeking. The board did visit the property at the recent onsite on Monday, December 13th, and were generally supportive of the variance request. They did recognize the significant property constraints and minimal area in which to place a garage. The only concern raised by the board was pertaining to the stabilization of the garage and the foundation, given the grades away from the roadway. Board did recommend that the applicant work with county staff to provide a detailed erosion plan at the time of land use permit. Staff has reviewed this request and believes that there are unique limitations to this property that would prevent the landowner from meeting the required setback, and they would not be able to erect a permitted use without relaxation of the codes. While it can be argued the applicants, do have reasonable use of the property, an accessory structure or garage to a home is a much needed commodity in our harsh climate. Staff also believes the applicants have gone to great lengths to minimize the impacts of the neighboring properties and the lake. While the board will be making a formal recommendation on this request later in the evening, staff is recommending approval of the variance as noted in staff's report and subject to the conditions listed. I would like to point out that we did include a provision or a condition number 8, under section D. An erosion control plan must be submitted at the time of land use permit.
Under D.
Yep, under approval, possible approval conditions.
Yeah, that's the concern I have is we can't make a mistake with that hillside because it adversely, any erosion on the hillside will go to the lake. It's so steep.
Absolutely. And not only that, it's going to erode, the foundation beneath the structure.
Yeah. So.
Yep.
Okay, any rebuttal? I'm sorry, any questions of Todd? No. Okay.
No, I've not.
Mrs. Nielsen have a question? Do you?
Step up.
Be recorded.
Just your contractor can work with us. And it might be just putting a downspout, a gutter and a downspout, and then doing a French drain along the side. And that's just so that we can disperse the water equally. We'll take a look at it at the time that we submit the drawings. Yeah, no, it's John Olson is our expert. He's one of our land conservationists. He'll actually go out to the property and come up with a recommendation for you. And it might even be putting it into a rain barrel.
If we approve it.
If we approve it. I apologize. Yes, if we approve it. Sorry.
Don't make them nervous.
I don't, nothing else with Todd? Then that'll conclude this portion of the public hearing and we'll go into our agenda. Call the order.